Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I have 3 replays to show you in the brand new Tier 8 Soviet medium premium tank, the Senjutsu TO-55. This tank came out in the latest Metal Fest tanks, and this is the Iron Maiden tank, so it comes with the Iron Maiden skin, which I think looks pretty cool, but that's really up for you to decide on that aspect. This tank, before we get into the videos, of which I have 3 of today, I'm just going to briefly go over the tank because it's a brand new tank, so I'll just explain a little bit about it before we get onto the videos. So it's basically like if you ever played the T-55, the Soviet Tier 9 tech tree tank, it's like a Tier 8 version of that, so sort of dumbed down version of that, and to be honest, it's pretty nice. I've actually really enjoyed playing it, with the exception of it also has a secondary weapon of the flamethrower. Now this tank basically has 320 alpha. The standard penetration round in the AP is 201 penetration with a shell velocity of 1070, which is okay. It's not too bad. You are still going to need to aim your shots a little bit. The Yin have 330 penetration in the heat rounds, which is pretty filthy for your 320 alpha, but that does only have an 895 shell velocity, so you do need to lead your shots. And then you have the 50 penetration HG rounds for 420 alpha, which is nice when you're able to pen those on the lightly armoured tanks. As far as armour goes, it has a pretty good turret when you're facing like Tier 8s and Tier 9 tanks. You can expect to bounce a few shots. When you start fighting those heavy, high penetration Tier 10 or Tier 9 tanks, they're going to be able to go through it. But you also have quite a big weak spot, which is the cupola. It's quite big, it's quite chunky, it's not difficult to hit. So that's something you need to be aware of. The frontal armour, it's okay because you actually have some spaced armor on the front hull, which is quite nice because you can absorb a few heat shells, and that can be quite effective. So the best place to shoot it when you're facing front down is that lower plate. And like most Soviet medium tanks, you have the 5 degrees of gun depression. But you then have a flamethrower, as I said, on the secondary weapon, which, because the reload on this tank it's on the, it feels a little bit long, to be honest, for your 320 alpha. It's okay, it's decent, but it does feel a little bit long. But because of reloads like that, your flamethrower as your secondary weapon can be quite effective, because when you're on reload and you're in those close combat brawls, it doesn't have a very long range, you're able to sort of switch to your secondary weapon just to get that booster of damage. But the important thing to note is it is a secondary weapon, so when at all possible, always use your main gun. While you're on reload, you might as well get a boost of damage while you're on reload, and then swap back basically when your reload's ready. But I'll show you that in the videos, so that's enough of me rambling on, I'm sure. So I'll just get into the gameplay and I'll explain the tank as we go. Okay, so on to the gameplay here. Now the first replay is on Great Wall, and it is a top tier game. Now something I forgot to mention at the start of the video is the gun handling on this tank isn't the best, which is why you'll see on my crew skills and my equipment, I run as much as I can to increase the gun handling. So I run, your gun stabilizer, and I run all the crew perks just to increase the accuracy of the tank. And with all those perks, I think you get the accuracy down to about 30, which is not amazing, but it's okay. So I do want to try and increase that, and I probably should mention that at the start of the video. So here we are on the first map on Great Wall. Like I say, it's Tier 8 game. We've got 1 fun police, and we've got a couple of light tanks on the enemy team. Initially, we're going to push to this position here and try and get up on this ridge. We have quite a lot of support with us coming this way, so we're going to try and see what we can do. Obviously, it's not the best fighter on the ridge. I only have 5 degrees of gun depression, but we'll try and make it work here. Super Sherman comes out, and we manage to get a nice shot in. Then he misses, and hopefully, we've got support with our friendly Talon here. We should be able to deal with this tank. Get a nice shot in here, and this is where I'm saying I'm on reload at this moment, so I swap to the flame just to boost my little bit of damage. Swap back, reload's ready, get the kill. And that's probably the best way to use that secondary weapon. You just have to look out for your reloader. You can see when you're reloading, and once you're ready, swap straight back to your main gun, because that's how you're going to get the maximised damage. Always want to be using your main gun while possible. Only use your secondary when you're on reload, because that's how you're going to get the most effective DPM. Now we're looking to try and get a shot on this Dreadnought. Dreadnought's shot, so we know we're on reload, we know we're safe to poke and get a shot. But now we want to pull back, because we don't really want to lose half our hit points to this enemy Dreadnought. We're trying to use this to get a little ridge, get shots in, but I'm struggling with my gun depression. So I'm going to try and adjust my position here, so I can get a wider angle, and it will be easier for me to get some shots in. I do want to try and get rid of these tanks as quickly as possible. You know, while our friendly tanks are engaging them in the front, we want to try and get round there to help them as quick as we can. But I need to deal with these tanks first. Tiger P spotted here. You know, we can easily pen the cupola with the AP rounds. And we're looking to try and get this tank out first, and then we can all pay our attention to that Dreadnought. No one really wants to eat the shot, no one wants to lose half their hit points. We're trying to get a shot through the cupola, we get another shot in, putting him down onto a one shot to us, and hopefully we may be able to pick up the kill here if we get an opportunity, and we do, and we pick up our kill. But at this point I'm noticing the in the bottom right hand corner towards our base, there's a few tanks pushing towards our base, which means I need to really, you know, ramp up the pressure this side, win this side quicker, because we're in danger of potentially being capped out if you know, all three of them get on the cap. So I do want to try and push this faster, so I can prevent that from happening. So I'm trying to get a shot, got a nice shot into that Tiger 131. I'm full going round at this point, trying to get a track wheel shot so we can pick up a little bit of track assistance, which we do. He gets taken out, and now it's this mouse breaker. It's not looking at us. Again, we go for the track shot so we can see if we can get a little bit more track assistance. We actually managed to pen the shot as well, which is good. And then we get the finishing kill there for our fourth kill, and a very decent start to this game with like 3,400 damage, 700 track assistance, and 4 kills. Now looking at the map, I see 2 tanks in the centre of the map, but I am going to go straight for the base, because at this point it's a very close game, and I want to be in a position that if the enemy team get on the cap, I'm there to deal with it. You know, thankfully we still have all our hit points at this point of the game. We've not lost any, so that's very, very helpful at this later stage of the game, especially when we've already got sort of 3,500 damage, and there's still 6 enemy tanks that we can deal with. So we're rushing to the base as soon as we can. You know, we're okay now. We know if someone comes around, they're going to get a reset. But I'm also somewhat by ourselves, and I wish kind of one of the tanks would have came with me, because if I spot a lot of tanks this way, I could be in a little bit of a trouble. So I'm coming around here. We do spot the Italian tier 8. We get a nice shot into him. At this point, he's by himself, and I think this is good because I can win this engagement. And I'm going to get a few bits of damage here. But then a full health IS-3 comes. We try and focus down the tank, which is on the lowest health. I'm now getting pushed by 3 tanks, so I need to retreat because I can't beat 3 tanks all by myself if they all just full send round on me. So I need to fall back. But then I notice I get in support from a friendly IS-3, so I'm thinking I'm going to try and help him. But if I'm honest, it turns out I think I probably should have fell back further than this, which was what I was originally going to do. But because I kind of got that support from my teammate, I didn't really want to leave him, and I wanted to try and help him. But I probably should have fell back further, which we'll find out why. But we get a shot into this IS-3, and we have a friendly tank pushing behind these tanks, which is good for us, but also it means that the enemy team are going to have to full commit into us now. And this is when I'm going to get pushed by a lot of tanks at once. I'm just trying to get as much out as I can, try and get rid of that IS-3. That's the tank I wanted to do, but they're all full sending on me, which is probably the right thing to do because they're getting shot in the rear. Swap to that flamethrower to boost our damage while I reload, but now I'm in an awkward situation. We're focusing the IS-3, we're trying to get him out of this game. I get trapped in an awkward position, and I'm thinking this is probably it for me now. Annoyingly, I bounce that shot. I'm going to die. I had to swap to the flamethrower again just to boost our damage. And unfortunately we get taken out there, which is a shame because I was having a really good game. And I think had I fallen back further, which I initially was going to do, I would have been in a lot better position. You know, they couldn't all just push me like that, and I probably would have got a lot more damage out of this game as it turns out. But I'm not going to let you watch all of this. Let's just skip to the end, and we'll see how we did. Okay, so we did manage to pick up the win there. We got close to 5,000 damage. The high caliber the first class. We got like 800 assistance and 4 kills, so we did have a really decent game. Had we just fallen back a little bit further, I'm sure we would have got the ace tanker there. But nonetheless, a really decent game, and it did sort of show you how to use the flamethrower a little bit. And let's move on to the second replay of the video. Okay, so we are on replay number 2 on Airfield. This time it is a tier 10 lobby, so we are bottom tier. There is 1 enemy fun police in the game and 2 enemy light tanks. Now initially I am going to play the sort of centre left hand side sort of ridges, which you'll see when we get there. I didn't really fancy playing the sort of middle ridge because I only have 5 degrees of gun depression, and there is enemy fun police in the game, and there's lots of tier 10 tanks. So I'm going to have to be somewhat careful and somewhat patient in this lobby because, yeah, you know, obvious reasons, lots of tier 10s and there's a fun police. So I can't get over aggressive. So I'm going to this sort of centre position at the start. You know, if anything gets spotted out while I'm looking now, you might be able to get a few shots in. Some of the sort of camping tank destroyers, you quite often get a few shots in there, or sometimes you even get some sort of heavy tanks sitting there and you might get a few shots in. So we don't really have much to, you know, to spot them. There is an enemy tank here, and I'm looking to try and get a shot if he just backs up. I'd just take a blind shot because you never know, and there wasn't any other shots available to me. But like I say, this game, you know, it is a lot of patience played. An enemy heavy tank pushes too far and we do get a nice side shot into them. But we're just keeping an eye out, just trying to see, you know, look at the tanks and trying to learn what tanks are where, what hit points are on, etc. like that. We got slim shots of this T-28 prototype in this sort of TD spot, but we're not going to pen it. You know, we're not going to pen its turret with the AP rounds. You know, only got 201 penetration on the AP rounds, which is enough for like the tier 8 etc. tanks. But that, you know, prototype's got good turret armour, and we're going to struggle with the AP. But with the 330 heat penetration, we can go through his sort of turret cheeks, you know, quite happily if we're able to get a shot at it. So that's why I've loaded those. But you know, he's got good shots at us when we peek, so I have to be very, very careful. And I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not going too aggressive. I'm just waiting for opportunities, waiting for this game to develop a little bit and see if we can get some more shots in. So I'm constantly scanning to see where we can, you know, how we're going to get any damage, you know, where our team is, where our position is. And we are starting to lose this game. We are sort of 2 tanks down already, and that kind of becomes the theme a little bit with this replay. So we're not getting any shots there. We're going to go back, see if we can maybe get a shot into that you know, prototype there. So we're looking for shots. We're struggling a little bit with our, you know, 5 degrees of gun depression here. So we're trying to make it work the best we can. We're only really going to be able to squeeze in the smallest of shots. Maybe. We try to get a shot there. Unfortunately, doesn't hit. So we're waiting for a reload. We're hoping to get another opportunity at. And we have the smallest of shots. And there we go. We do land a shot. Like I say, wouldn't have penned that with the AP rounds. But with the heat rounds, you know, you have 330 heat. And that's quite nice. Enemy heavy tank comes around. He bounces. We get a nice shot in. And he gets finished off by our charioteer. And we're able to, you know, deal with an enemy tier 9 Wheezy there, which is good. It's 9 versus 11. Like I say, we're still a couple of tanks down. And again, I'm just going to see if we can get any more opportunities into that prototype. You can see I do keep switching between the mini small map and the bigger map. Just because I wanted to know, it's kind of important to me to know if something is going to quickly come behind me, because I need to turn around and face them. The mobility on this tank is pretty good. I think I forgot to mention that. I think you've got like a 55 kilometers an hour top speed, and you actually turn on the spot pretty nicely as well. And you know, the terrain resistance is pretty good. So it's quite a mobile medium tank, which is, you know, I do quite enjoy playing those little mobile mediums. So we're going to go back to this side. We're now a few more tanks down at 7 versus 11, trying to get some shots into that Progetto. But we realise with our gun depression, we're not going to be able to get a shot there. Well, it's overextending and losing a lot of hit points, so it just isn't worth it. So we just pull back. Again, we're going to see if we can get any shots in this prototype. I'm waiting for the tanks to really sort of you know, waiting for a bit more of an opportunity to get some damage, which I haven't really had a big opportunity yet. And then we spot this enemy atomic. We get a nice shot into him there, putting him onto a one shot, and I'm hopeful I might be able to pick up the kill shot here in this atomic. If he continues pushing like he is, he should leave us open to a shot. Now I have the heat round loaded, which I don't really need, but I want to make sure I don't get absorbed in his tracks. And we do pick up our first kill, putting us under 1500 damage there. And we actually pick up a little bit of, a tiny bit of spotting assistance as well. Having a look, there's a heavy tank there which is on 700 hit points. I decided I need to just get rid of this tank. Unfortunately, turns just at the wrong moment and gets a shot into us, which is awkward. We could probably hit one more shot, but I don't really want to. I drive straight at him and then turn at the last minute, and thankfully gets tracked by our front policeman. We're able to pick up the kill there, getting rid of that enemy tier 10 tank. Still a very, very close game, on a 5 versus 7. I'm trying to get back into a better position. It looks like that Waffle E100 is starting to move in on us. So he's left his initial position. As I move round here, an enemy who is a one shot to us comes around, and this is not good. He hits one shot, I get hit by the fun police. I think this is all over. He bounces a second shot. Thankfully, he bounces his last shot. I really thought I was dead there. The Murat only has 3 shots, remember, so he is on reload now. So thankfully, he gets taken out by our friendly S-Bahn. Puts us on 1800 damage, 800 assistance. 6 tanks remaining, and this Waffle is coming in, and we need to be careful, but he's not paying attention to us, so we're going to get a nice shot in. I did try and track him, but it wasn't possible. But he's taking a lot of damage here. He gets put on a one shot. We pick up a bit more assistance, and we get the kill on the enemy Waffle. And now we've got this enemy Progetto to deal with. But I don't feel safe being this close to the Progetto on this low health, because yes, I do have support here, and they will cover me, but it's not going to stop him taking us out. So I try to use this rock here to try and shield me for him so I can escape, but as that happens I get spotted by an enemy Tiger Shark light tank, and that's not good because I get Progetto shoots at us. Thankfully he misses, so I'm just going to try and get into cover because there is that enemy fun police. I'm just going to try and settle, lose my spot, and then I really need to take out that light tank while he's on the one shot before he's able to escape. So I'm going to try and do that now because I have the Progetto breathing down my neck and that tank destroyer. I need to just get rid of these tanks so I've got more freedom in the map. I'm going to go in for this kill shot here. Thankfully we get the kill shot and he doesn't take us out because we was on a one shot there. And we pick up our 4th kill of the game, putting us into a 4 versus 4. So very, very tight game now. We go back to see if we can spot if anything sneaking up on us. There was, thankfully we spotted that Progetto just at the right moment, because if he'd have got any further he would have been able to get shots into us and take us out, and he actually gets absolutely slapped by the enemy S-Bahn there. We pick up some nice assistance damage, and now we're just trying to keep this prototype detected, because while we have the fun police in the game, he's going to put shots at him. I want to try and pick up some more assistance and also just deal with that threat. So Fun Police gets a nice shot into us, putting us up to 1500 assistance. He's on a potential one shot to us here, and we are definitely on a one shot to them. So I'm just seeing if he's going to get detected. At this point I'm thinking, you know what, he might be trying to come behind us. I've got to be careful because obviously the Fun Police, I'm on 185 odd hit points, and I've got to be careful with that. But this TD is a potential one shot to us. So I'm coming around now to see if I can try and catch him out. When he if he's coming this way, I don't know that for sure. But he is. We get a shot and we don't roll high enough. This is where we swap to the flamethrower quickly, and in the nick of time that saves us. The flamethrower saves us from getting killed there, and that's where that secondary weapon comes in very, very handy in scenarios like that. Fun Police is looking for us, so I need to lose this spot, which we do, and now it's just the enemy Fun Police. So I'm feeling a lot more confident we're going to get this win here. We've had a decent game considering it's a tier 10 lobby. It was hard for us. We had to work for the damage in this game. And now I've loaded those HE rounds in the hope that I can pen the enemy artillery, enemy Fun Police, and pick up some more damage. I'm hoping he's pretty healthy. But I'm also hoping I get there before the enemy or friendly S-Bahn, who has done a lot to help us in this game. But I want to try and get some more damage out of this game. But also I do need to be a little bit conscious that I'm not going to get shotgunned. But with an S-Bahn and the friendly Fun Police left, I'm feeling pretty confident. He does get detected in the middle, so I'm trying to get there as quickly as we can. I want to try and get a shot into this tank. You know, I am on a potential top gun here, and he is full health, but he's not going to be full health for long because he's got an S-bar that's just absolutely slapped him. And I do pick up the kill at least, but I wasn't able to pick up any more, you know, big damage, unfortunately, at the end. But we do go on to get 6 kills, just shy of 3,000 damage and 1,500 assistance, 1,800 damage. Blocked there. We get the middle for killing 2 tanks, you know, two tiers higher than us, and you know, it's 1950 base XP, but only the first class there. But that is it for replay number 2, with the final replay coming up. So let's move on. Okay, so the final replay on Serene Coast. This time we are top tier, 2 enemy fun police, 2 enemy light tanks, and we have made a decision quite early doors because we are top tier, but we're going to push the 1-2 line aggressively and hope that we get enough support, because it can be a little bit awkward, you know, when there's a fun police there, and if you do this, you want the support to win the side fast, because it's quicker, you know, the sooner you win the side, you know, the less shots are going to come at you from the fun police. So I do want to try and kill them quickly. So it is somewhat risky with 2 enemy artilleries in the game. So as we push this position, we do get detected fun police looking at us already, doing our best to try and avoid the shots and try and get up to this ridge line. We spot an enemy Victoria, we get a nice shot into him, and we're going to hope to try and get a second one in. Like I say, I am being aggressive because I want to get the shots in, but I can't be too aggressive when there's this enemy AMX autoloader there. If I poke up and get tracked, that could be very, very awkward for me. He has shot at least 2 shots I know of, so if he goes on reload, I'm going to try and get some shots in. I think, yeah, at this point, I don't know if he's on reload or not. It feels like he's shot quite a few shots. I swapped to the flamethrower, just trying to get a little bit of extra damage while I'm on reload, because why not? And I'm sort of struggling somewhat with the gun depression, so I try and get a shot there, but I just pull back a little bit, and obviously with that gun depression issues, it misses the shot. But I'm trying to get another punishing shot into this Victoria here. Our friendly tanks are coming in. I swapped to the flamethrower again while I'm on reload, just to tick away a little bit of extra damage. You know, it's not a lot, but it's almost like free damage because I'm on reload anyway. So you might as well get that little boost. Plus, you know, sometimes it freaks people out when they're getting shot by the flamethrower, even if it's not even doing that much damage. So I'm getting shot at the fun police, trying to get rid of this tank. Like I say, we've won this little ridgeline battle here. Which is good, and I'm not going to push all the way around just yet, because I've noticed there's tanks on the sort of middle behind us where I'm hoping that I might be able to get shots in. I'm just checking over my shoulder on the left. I don't want to get shot in the rear while I'm going for these shots. There's the sort of derpiness of the tank which can happen. I probably could have aimed that for a little bit longer, but I'm trying to avoid taking damage. So we get another little shot in, putting him onto a 1 shot. It's a shame we missed our first shot because it would already be dead. Unfortunately, that means he's able to get away, because I can't overextend too much on this ridge, you know, because then I'm going to get taken out. And this is still, we are tanks up, but this is still losable, you know. We do have to be somewhat careful. We're in a good position, started to take away a lot of map control. I've swapped to the heat shells to deal with this IS-3, but I know there'll be tanks covering this IS-3 at the base. An enemy light tank comes behind us, he pens us, we get a shot in, we try and get a little bit of flamethrower on, but we don't really, doesn't really work for us there. And I've got to be a little bit careful. Then we notice a second enemy light tank coming in, so we're going to try and deal with him. We swap. This time we do get a little bit of flame on him to boost our damage while we're on reload. We run out of flame. We're going to try and get one in before he leaves. We do, put him onto that 1 shot there. And like I say, as much as I want to deal with that IS-3 there, this tank's covering him, and I'd have to overextend and I'd get punished for it, so it's not worth it. So I'm going to sort of move and relocate to a different location to see if we can work a different angle. Now at this point we spot the IS-3 here. It's awkward for me to poke and get shots in, but in my mind I'm thinking we've won this side now. Like, if all those tanks down at sort of the bottom of the map near our sort of base, you can see them there, if they push down the 1 line at this point, then they're going to get easy shots into this IS-3 from the ridge, because he's just sat there in the open. So I'm just trying to keep him detected at this point, and I'm hoping that our friendly teams are going to move up and get shots in. We do get a nice shot into him though with the heat shells. Like I say, it's awkward with my 5 degrees of gun depression. I can afford to eat one shot off of him, but an enemy light tank's coming around. I want to deal with this light tank, this little pest here. We get rid of that light tank, picking up our first kill of the game. I'm surprised this IS-3 isn't getting shot at more, if I'm honest at this point. I'm surprised it hasn't lost any damage. I'm just trying to bait a shell, but, well, we do bait a shell straight into our turret and it pens us. So he's on reload, so I'm going to poke and just get a shot in. Now it's awkward because I can't take as many chances trying to bait his shell when I am on a one shot. So that does make, you know, life harder for me. So, but I have noticed there's a friendly Craft Panther here sneaking up on him. So I'm waiting basically, because if that Craft Panther comes in, the I3 might turn and fight the Craft Panther, and that'd be my window when his gun's not looking at us to poke up and get that shot in. But I have to wait because I am a one shot and I don't want to get taken out here. He does turn for the Craft Panther. This is my time. I'm going to get the kill here, picking up that kill, putting us on to 4,200 damage with 2 kills and 3 enemy tanks remaining. I want to try and get some more damage. I'm having a good game. That IS-3's kind of held us up for a little bit. I think I could have got some more damage if we could have got rid of them quicker, but it just wasn't to be. But there is still 3 tanks in. At this point, I have no idea how much hit points they have. I'm low hit points, so I do have to be somewhat careful. So I'm going to peek this a little bit slowly, and well, probably not slowly enough, but thankfully we bounced a shot there off of our upper plate. Otherwise, that could have been the end of our game. And now we do have to be careful. He has fired. We're just waiting to see if he peeks. We're going to see if we can get a shot in. We get a nice shot through the top of his turret there. He shoots again, so I'm going to, you know, get ready to peek again, see if we can get a nice shot in. If he pokes again and then back right up around the corner, because the reverse, I forgot to mention the track reverse speed in this tank is actually really nice, so you can reverse back pretty quickly. We do get a lovely shot in, putting him onto a one shot there. He does take out my friendly teammate helping us, but we're just going to wait, see if we get an opportunity. He gets taken out. There is the 1 tank remaining. He is on a 2 shot. We sneak one in, putting him onto a 1 shot here. We may be able to eat a shell, maybe, but we're going to try it. And, well, thankfully, he doesn't roll high enough and he does take us out. We do get the kill at the end. Bringing this into the video then, so let's see how we did. We got 3 kills, 5,200 damage, 500 resistance, 1,000 blocked. High caliber first kill. We don't get the ace tanker again, but you know, we were pretty damn close to it. And yeah, so I actually really like this tank. I mean, is it worth it? It's 10,000 gold. That's only something really you could decide. I mean, if you like those Soviet medium tanks, you'll probably get on with it. You probably quite like it. If the lack of gun depression is a problem for you, then maybe it won't. But I enjoy the tank. I think found it pretty fun to play, if I'm honest, and I'll probably play it a little bit more, so maybe I'll get some more replays in this tank at a later date. But as always, thank you so much for your support. Genuinely, you are amazing. The support I get is fantastic, and just happy tanking.
Enemy in sight! Hadouken!